All right, let's talk about the most complex and honestly the weirdest machine on the planet. And guess what? It's you. I mean, we're talking about microscopic spiders living on your face, the fact that you literally glow in the dark. Your body is just a universe of bizarre secrets. So let's dive right in. Okay, first up, I've got a question for you, and it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can you actually, physically, smell fear? Believe it or not, the answer is yeah, you can. It's wild. So scientists did this study where they collected sweat from people jumping out of a plane for the first time. I mean, talk about fear sweat, right? Then they had other people in a lab just sniff it. And get this, the fear centers in their brains lit up. So what does that mean? It means fear might actually be contagious, spread through smell, kind of like an ancient warning system built right into our biology. So where is all this weirdness coming from? Well, let's start at the very top, at the command center itself, your brain. You know that feeling, right? You're enjoying some ice cream a little too fast, and then bam, that sudden, blinding headache. Well, it turns out your brain isn't actually freezing. It's more like a biological panic alarm. When that intense cold hits the roof of your mouth, your body's like, whoa, code red. It instantly expands the blood vessels there to rush warm blood to the area. And all that rapid expansion, that's the pressure you feel as a brain freeze. Okay, let's just bust a classic myth right now. You've heard it a million times, right? The idea that we only use 10% of our brains. Well, it is completely 100% false. Brain scans make it super clear. There's activity across your entire brain pretty much all the time, even when you're sleeping. Sure, different parts get more active depending on what you're doing, but every single part has a job. You're using the whole thing right now, just listening to me. So, if you're using 100% of your brain, what does that mean for storage? Well, the estimates are just staggering. We're talking about 2.5 million gigabytes. To put that in perspective, that's enough space to store about 3 million hours of YouTube videos. Your brain is a supercomputer. Of course, some days it really feels like most of that incredible storage is just dedicated to replaying that one super embarrassing thing you did back in 8th grade, right? Over and over again. And one last thing about your brain, and this one's a real curveball. It's basically fat. Yeah, your brain is the fattiest organ in your body, about 60% fat. And in a world where we're always told fat is the enemy, it turns out our most important organ is packed with it. And for good reason. That fat is absolutely essential. It acts like insulation for your nerve cells, letting them fire off signals at lightning speed. Okay, so we've been inside the command center. Now let's head to the outer walls. I'm talking about your skin. And it's not just a wrapper for your body. It's your largest organ. And trust me, it is a bustling, thriving ecosystem. All right, you might want to sit down for this. Deep inside the pores of your skin, especially on your face, there are tiny eight-legged creatures. They're called Demodex mites. And yes, you have them. I have them. Pretty much every single human on Earth has them. And oh, they have a little nightly routine. So during the day, they just chill out, face down in your hair follicles, eating up all that greasy oil your skin makes. But then, at night, when you're asleep, they crawl out onto the surface of your skin to find a mate. After that, they crawl right back into your pores to lay their eggs. This is happening on your face tonight. And if you're suddenly thinking about scrubbing your face raw to get them off, well, you can save yourself the trouble. They live so deep down inside your pores, it's pretty much impossible to get rid of them. They are, for better or for worse, a permanent part of you. All right, so we've got a super fatty brain and a face full of mites. Awesome. But how does that brain even know what's going on in the outside world? Well, it's all thanks to our sensory gateways. Now, we tend to think of ourselves as visual creatures, right? All about what we see. But a real, unsung superpower? It's our sense of smell. I mean, look at this. We can see a few million colors, hear about 500,000 sounds, which is pretty good. But the human nose? It can distinguish up to 1 trillion different smells. It's not even close. Okay, time to bust another myth. And this one probably comes from your elementary school classroom. Remember that tongue map? With the little zones for sweet, salty, sour, and bitter? Yeah, that's completely wrong. You don't just taste sweet things on the tip of your tongue. The reality is, all your taste buds are little all-rounders. Every single one can pick up on all the different flavors. And let's finish this part up with your eyes, because this is one of my favorite facts. Your cornea, that's the clear outer layer, is a true biological oddity. It's the only part of your body that has no blood supply. I mean, if it did, the vessels would block your vision, right? So how does it get oxygen to stay alive? It literally breathes. It pulls oxygen directly from the air. So all these incredibly complex, bizarre systems had to come from somewhere, right? Let's rewind the clock and go all the way back to the beginning, to a time when our bodies were arguably at their absolute weirdest, when we were newborns. Honestly, newborns are basically tiny, adorable, strange little aliens. For instance, their first poop has no smell because they don't have the gut bacteria yet. They can't taste salt at all until they're about 6 months old. And here's a weird one. Because they absorb their mom's hormones, newborns of any gender can actually be born with little breasts and even produce milk. Oh, and for some reason, most of them just prefer to face to the right when they're lying down. All right, for our final stop on this tour of the bizarre, let's talk about some of the weird things your body is doing right this very second, without you even thinking about it. And here's a question for you that sounds like it's straight out of a comic book. Do you glow in the dark? Are you, right now, emitting your own light? The answer, incredibly, is yes, you do. Now, don't get too excited you can't see it. Researchers in Japan used super sensitive cameras and found that our bodies actually produce light. It's called bioluminescence. The glow is just way too weak for our eyes to pick up, about 1,000 times too weak, in fact, but it's there. You are literally glowing. And here's one you can actually test out for yourself. Have you ever felt like you are taller in the morning? Well, you are. All day long, gravity is squishing down on the cartilage in your spine. But when you lie down and sleep, everything gets a chance to decompress and expand. And the result is you are actually about 1 centimeter taller in the morning than you were the night before. So think about it. From a cornea that breathes air, to tiny mites having a party on your face while you sleep, to the fact that we all have our own invisible glow, the human body is just so much stranger and more wonderful than we give it credit for. And it really makes you wonder, right? If this is the stuff we've already figured out, what other incredible secrets is your body still keeping?